Yes, we are live now. So, hello everybody. This is TimeQuest Lab. My name is Petrenko Vasily. I'm the co-founder of the TimeQuest Lab, and today we have a special webinar. So we have guests here because previously I talked alone, all by myself, and today I hope that I won't be talking too much as I usually do, because as I said, I have a special guests here. These are our clients, partners, big friends. Ken and Jeannie, say hi.
Hey guys.
So hello guys. A little bit of introduction on for you. So I don't remember when exactly we started working together. You will tell me about that. Remind me later. So they are the escape room owners in North Carolina, a city called Waxhaw. So you could see the logo behind Ken, which is called Waxhaw Escape. Those are pretty great escape rooms. And today the theme of the webinar is just basically interview about from the escape room owner. What is the business of the escape rooms? How to start one? How is it going basically right now? And special part I want to put aside as your creativity part. I picked you as our first guest because you put a lot of efforts and a lot of joy, life in those escape rooms by yourself. So you put a lot of things on your own, and we will talk about that also. So again, hello, and let me ask you a very first question to start our discussion. Why escape rooms? Why did you pick this business idea or style of life? I don't know. Just tell me, why did you decide it back then? And just remind
Jeannie,
me.
Five and a half years.
5.5 years we've been doing this. So you can notice that we have hair that is platinum blonde. And so in our previous careers, we were all in youth-oriented things in churches around America. Jeannie was a worship leader, modern worship leader. I was a youth ministry guy. But when you start getting hair platinum blonde, you start to get too old for those kinds of things in most places. And so we were wondering, okay, so what are we going to do next? And then Jeannie.
That's me.
Yes, you take the story over.
About 6 years ago, about this time of year, I went on a family visit to Portland, Oregon, and I met up with my mom and my aunt who were in their 80s, my adult children who were probably in their early 40s, and some grandkids who were all the way from 10 years old up to 18. And we were looking for something fun to do together. And we went to an escape room. And it was my first experience. And I was just like, this is really fun, especially for people from age 85 down to 10. There's not too many things you can find to do that everybody would really enjoy. And then I was going, could be a great business because in this, it was I think what is called a Generation 1 escape room. There was basically just codes to figure out and boxes with locks, and yet it was still so fun. And I thought, there's no overhead here. So I thought this would be a good business. Now, since then, we've learned there's quite a bit more overhead if you're going to do a really amazing escape room like we have. But still,
That's
came
true.
home and I told Ken, and I said, we got to go try this. He'd never been either. So we went to one together and he went, this is fun. This is really fun. And so we started that process of going, could we do this? We've never done business before ever in our life. And we basically went, we're no dumber than anybody else, really. So maybe we could figure this out. So that was how we got started.
Yeah. So an escape room business really fit who we are. Like, especially working with teenagers all my life, teenagers always want to have fun. And so escape rooms are helping people have fun. So it fits who we are.
So you basically like the idea of some kind of a, first of all, not the business thing, but the family entertainment, how to spend the time together, and from this point of view, right?
Yes.
And just remind me, when was that? So it was 2018?
It was
five and a half years
2000,
ago.
yeah,
So
6 years ago. So 6 years
Yeah,
ago would be 2018. It was 2018.
right.
okay, guys, I want to stop you for a while, just 1 second. I want to check. I usually do that, but today is a special thing, and ask some people. I want to check if everything works fine, and ask people who are watching this right now in the chat to tell me if everything is fine regarding the sound, video, and everything, so that you can hear me, you can hear Ken and Jeannie, because yeah, there are some technical, not issues, but things that I'm doing for the first time, and I want to be sure that everything goes fine. So I'm waiting for some thumbs up in the chat. We need to wait a little bit for you to understand there is a delay between the live, me talking to you, and people who are seeing that on YouTube. It's like 20 seconds, so we will receive some messages then, I hope, because YouTube is showing me that there is some problems with the bitrate, but it
Oh
works.
no.
Yeah, so kind of YouTube wants better quality, but sorry, we have what we have. But people are saying yes, perfect. So everything is good on the end.
Good.
Great, yay! So then we can continue. That's a great news. So everything is fine here. Okay, so first of all, you said that, Jeannie, it was your idea first, right? So
It
you
was my
mentioned.
idea. Yeah.
How did you made Ken believe into that idea? Tell him that, hey, definitely we need to start a business. We need to spend a lot of money, build some thing to invite some families, come to our place and solve the puzzles. Like, how, Ken, first of all, I will ask you, how did you feel about this kind of idea first?
Well, we initially thought, well, we have no idea what it's going to cost. We have no idea what it involved. So we got involved with a mentor, a business mentor from an organization here in North Carolina that is called SCORE, SCORE. It stands for Society of Corporate Officers and Retired Executives. And they volunteer their time to help people get businesses started correctly. So we had to go through all the market research. We had to do the, demographics. We had to do all the business plan spreadsheets out the wazoo, just to see, is this a good idea or not? And it was a good idea. We decided, yeah, this is a good idea. This could go.
Yeah,
So that's how we did it.
I remember you showed me the doc. Actually, you showed me even after we started working together. So I haven't seen it before. You had a very detailed business plan with all the numbers, with everything. So I'm like, wow, they are prepared. Because sometimes people are like, okay, roughly, I want to start a business. They're starting, then they have some maybe issues, but some minor issues. If you get all of those together, those are major issues, and yeah, it could be a problem. But on your end, you were ready.
Right. I was going to say one of the things that they had us do, to go back to your question of how did we talk ourselves into continuing with this, was to do the demographic survey to see, is this a viable option where we live? And we had to look at the demographics, who lives here, what is the income level, what is the population. And we found out that we're in one of the highest growth areas in North Carolina. And we found out that the people's income could support them coming to an escape room. And there was enough new growth, people coming in, that we would always, at least for the foreseeable future, have an influx of new people to play our games. So we found out a lot of information before we said, yeah, that looks good. Looks like we may be in a good location. So that was
6 years ago, most people didn't know what an escape room was. They kind of had heard of them, but they thought, okay, you get locked in a room and you're stuck in there until you figure out how to get out, right? And so Jeannie and I made up this little questionnaire. We walked around our little downtown in Waxhaw and stopped people and asked them, do you know what an escape room is? Have you ever been to one? Would you go to one? That kind of stuff. And that was very, very instructive for us.
So you did a real, what they call customer development, right? CosDev.
Right.
You
Right.
were okay. I want to get back to that a little bit later. First of all, let's get back to your how you started the business. So, how do you feel? How hard is this business to enter? I mean, this whole escape room, because to start the escape room, you need to find a building, you need to build it, you need to make a lot of construction, you need to do all this creative part. Today, I want to talk about two different parts. First of all, this creativity, which I mentioned, which is especially I want to talk to you because you're the guys who even wrote the scenarios by yourself. The second part, of course, money, because everybody's interested in money. But I will not ask you like maybe exact some things, but in general, how it's all going. So, in terms of total business, is it hard to start? You mentioned that they were asking you a lot of questions about the target audience, about the demographics, and stuff like that. But how did you feel? Like, I don't know how to compare and what to compare, um, but on your opinion.
In our situation, we had never done it, so it was all doing it for the first time for us. It was not, so we were making mistakes and we were doing things out of order and trying not to make as many mistakes as possible. But the real challenges were like what you mentioned, first finding a good spot that was available and we could afford. Then the next challenge was getting approval from our town to build this business because our town had never seen an escape room business before. They didn't want people getting locked in a room. They were worried about fire hazard and that kind of stuff. And it was just so trying to convince the town that yeah, this is something you really want us to do was a challenge. And then I'm not a builder and I have no construction capabilities at all. And so finding a general contractor at that time was really difficult. So we got behind on our schedule just because we couldn't find anybody to come in and tear out walls and build new walls. And,
Well, can I say something right there?
Go
We
for it.
also we were also very naive and completely unrealistic in how much time it takes. And I remember, Vasily, you were shocked because we naively said, okay, we're going to open in like 3 months after I mean, we got our first game shipped to us and we unpacked it, I think the first week in December. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
correct?
It
And
was
we
actually
opened.
December 8th it arrived because that's our
And
anniversary.
You
And so,
remember the
yeah,
exact
so,
date? Wow.
yeah,
well, yeah, and we opened like the second week in January, and that has never happened since, and you should not ever plan on that happening. We pushed our contractor, going, "This has got to get done today because he's coming in to do this, and this guy needs to do this," and we didn't even know how the whole process worked, and so we were ridiculously naive and uninformed as to how much time it was all going to take and what order things needed to be done
yeah,
in.
yeah.
And when you said lay it out on the table, we were going, what? What does that mean? No idea. So we had a
Uh,
lot of learning to do, but we got it open amazingly.
yeah. And do have to say that we got our first games from Time Quest Lab, and I had no idea the amount of technological stuff that's built into these games. But with a lot of YouTube videos that you guys have made that show how to wire everything up, with a lot of hands-on, like via WhatsApp help from your support guys, we were able to pull it off and not have anything blow up on us, which is pretty surprising.
First of all, right now we simplify our system, so it's way much easier to install. Second, yeah, we are trying to help as much as we can, but despite our part, you have all this construction done, but you have you had a contractor, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, let's
For
get.
our town requires a contractor with a license, so that we
Mhm.
had to go through that guy. But yeah, so yeah, all of that. But when we used an alarm company in town, they do alarms for like hospitals and people's homes and businesses and stuff. And they did all of our 12-volt wiring. for us.
Okay,
They
but
understood all of that.
was it hard to find a good contractor? Because I know that's a really problem to find the right guy who can do everything on schedule, and because those guys, they're pretty often like,
Yes, they are.
Yes.
you understand what
They
I'm
pretty
going to
much
say.
are often that way. Yes, they are.
No
Yeah,
Yes, it
offense if
was
you're
that.
listening.
And that
yeah.
put us behind. That put us behind by a good month or two because we couldn't find a contractor. We had
Okay.
the space, but we didn't have any way of getting anything done. So
Yeah, but okay, did you pick the how to say, the expensive one, or in
We
terms of
picked the
contractor?
only one we could find. It was a
yeah,
neighbor that we knew just casually, and we'd reached out to other contractors, and they weren't at all interested. And he had some time, and he was interested in it. He was a creative kind of guy, so he agreed to do it. And he himself had no idea what we were trying to do, so he was trying to figure it out too. He was confused, but he worked with us, and that's how we chose him. We had no other options. Um,
he was the
Later,
only one available.
he's the only
Yeah,
one available. So sometimes that's what you got to do. That's what
Okay,
we did.
no, it's a
but
good
I do
thing.
think you make. I was going to say you make a good point, Gene. That he was kind of intrigued and wanted to get involved in the creative side of things. So he did extra stuff, like he made our train game with the circular roof, like a real train. He really liked building everything to make it look like it's supposed to be that way. He was very intrigued by all the creative side. Same with the 12-volt wiring person. He was bored of just doing people's homes and businesses. He wanted something fun, and so they came and did it that way. So that's a benefit, I think, of building an escape room game is you get people who are like, okay, I'm bored of doing the everyday kitchen remodel. Let's, this will be much more fun than that.
Yeah, I didn't know that about your story of your escape rooms, and actually, I wanted to mark that as an additional point. So either you need to have a really good professional, who will do everything that you say, that I need this rounded, I don't know, roof, whatever you say, he will do with some, I don't know, schemes or stuff like that. But that might be too costly, right? Too expensive. Or either you got lucky to find a guy who was interested in your project. As I said, I didn't know that, and that's a really good thing. I think that helped you a lot. Okay.
We were able to get it a lot cheaper that way, I think. It cost us a lot less doing it that way.
Yeah. So either, but still, your escape rooms are really good looking. So these guys also pretty good one. I mean, in terms of, he's a professional still. So maybe,
All the good looking stuff is because of Jeannie and her friend. They did all the good looking things.
okay, all the decorative parts. Okay,
Right.
let's get to that point. So, first of all, before decorations, before you started building the escape rooms exactly, remind me, how did you pick the theme? Asking this question because I remember first two escape rooms were on our end, right? We offered you the ideas that worked better
Kind of.
on
Yeah.
our end.
Our first escape room was Alice's Dream, which is an off-the-shelf from from Time Quest Lab. The second one, we said, we're in a town that has a little downtown and a train that runs right through the middle of it. So we got to have a train game. So we started talking with your designers and stuff about train scenarios, and they came up with our Train to Nowhere game. And they've since come up with, I think, an even better one called Steampunk Train. But yeah, so you didn't have a train game, so we worked with you guys to come up with a train game, an old steam-powered, self-driving train.
And that's one of the best sellers right now in our company. So it's a classic, some pretty simple, but simple theme, but looks very cool, and people just like it. So it's nothing special, but the creative elements and some mechanics. So it's just intriguing people what is inside. Okay, and going further a little bit. So I know
then
that
we got Jungle Drums, which is the Jumanji theme game. So that's one of your off-the-shelf ones. Then we have the space where Genie's in. Yeah, before that we had We did Dirty Money before Jungle Drums because we did the VR game where Jungle Drums is.
Yeah.
Then we did the one that Jeannie's in now, Dirty Money, Good Deed, takes place in the real McCoy barbecue. And it started off with we were trying to think, okay, we have all these windows in that room. Jeannie's, it's a strip mall and it's all windows in the front. And we thought, how do you have an escape room with a whole bunch of windows? Where could you do? And so we thought of a cafe or something, and that evolved into it's a barbecue place that my grandfather used to own, and he made moonshine and bootlegged it to sell. And there was the Hatfields and McCoys and that kind of stuff. And we worked with your script writer, scenario writers to come up with the Dirty Money Good Deed game, which is really fun. It's my favorite one that we do.
I want to add something there on our process. We came up with the initial idea, but what we can't do and are probably never going to learn to do, which TimeQuest did, is they know what puzzles they can create to move the storyline along. And we have no knowledge of any of these electronic puzzles or how to make them. And honestly, we don't want to use our brains to do that. That's up to TimeQuest to come up with that. But we could not do that part by ourselves ever.
Right.
And so,
yeah, the gameplay design is not. I don't understand gameplay design, but TimeQuest does. And so we were able to use your expertise in our initial ideas, and they come up with and the game flow works well so that it's a 1 hour game. Nobody gets bored or stalled. So it's really a cool thing.
Thank you for such a feedback, because sometimes sometimes people, they have their own vision and they want to we are totally okay if we take some idea or the flow of the scenarios, flow of the story, right? But then the people and it's okay to have some, how to say, again, ideas from the client. But what I always say that if you ask us to do the UFO in the middle of the room, we will tell you that, okay, we could do that, but it will cost too much money, but will not make such an effect. So you will pay thousands of dollars, but it will be waste of money. And we're trying to work it this way, keeping it in the line. But okay, back to this scenario. I wanted to make some stop here. So first of all, regarding the story. So as I know, there are some little story of your family included in there, right? Mm-hmm. The story, yeah. And I wanted to mark how good it is included in the scenario, how you put it in there. And the question is here, because you said that you really love this scenario, and we can understand why. But what about players? What about your customers? Do they love this kind of a story, which is based on yes, the story of your family, but how do you make them love this game, which is for them, there is no connection for them like as for you?
There is a bit of a connection because we're in North Carolina. In North Carolina, during Prohibition in America, when alcohol was banned, North Carolinians are not going to give up their alcohol very easily. And so they would start making their own called moonshine. And they would then have to get that moonshine from where they made it and take it to sell. And doing that is called bootlegging. And to do that, they had to outrun the police. So they made their cars really fast. And so guys making their cars really fast so they could load them up with moonshine and outrun the police is how a big sport in America called NASCAR got its start.
Really?
Right here in North Carolina.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there is a local moonshine bootlegging connection there as well. So
I didn't know that. Always something new. Okay, I got it. So you really marketed the story. When I was asking this question right now, I felt that maybe it's even a really good thing that the customers are coming in and they have to play a game which is connected with the owner of the place, and like you are feeling the connection with and as we talked from the very beginning of our today's discussion, that you were from the very start like searching something for families, for you have these this is your how to say this is what you are like about. So, and I think they feel it too. And okay, my next question is about the next escape rooms. I remember that so all the, you know, when you're saying the word escape room, everybody is like, the first thing that comes to my mind, not my mind, but for everybody, is the horror games, right? Some maniacs, some killers, stuff, blood and stuff like that. So spooky things.
Right.
And I remember that with you, we avoid this case till the very end, right? So Alice's Dream, family. Then this story based on your family. Then Jungle Drums, again, family friendly, stuff like that. But at the end, you decided to make some kind of not a horror, but some kind of spooky, tricky thing.
Creepy, yeah, creepy.
Creepy, paranormal
Genie,
activity.
talk about that.
Yeah. Tell me more.
We kept hearing from a demographic that we weren't necessarily targeting, which was young adults, teenagers. They were going, we want a creepy game, or a horror. We love that. And we were like, well, we don't, but we need to listen to this. And realizing that the people that were coming through, they would be family groups, and there'd be teenagers and there'd be young adults, but we weren't really creating anything for them. And now that we had 4 family games, we thought maybe we could branch out to specifically target that demographic of people. So we came up with a story that is also historically based here in our area in Waxhaw. And we put a link on our website to where you can read about the historical events, but it's kind of about a local pastor who was found strangled in his study by his wife. And at the time, people suspected his wife of being a witch. This was when America was going crazy with the witch trials.
It was 250 years ago.
Yeah, it really happened here. And so they dug up his body and they forced her to put her hand on his skull. And if it came back bloody, the thought was that would prove she was a witch. Well, of course, that didn't happen. But there is no conclusive evidence in how he really died. And so the quest is to figure out who killed him. Did he kill himself? Was it his wife, or was it somebody else? And so it's a little creepy because it's like a ghost story, a haunted story, but it's not super scary. There's some jump scares when the voodoo doll falls out of the cabinet and screams, and just some fun things like that.
Yeah, no spoilers.
yeah. And they find, the strangled body, but it's not gory. It's just a little bit like, ew, and the kids love it. And we made it a PG-13 where we recommend parental guidance and make your own choice about kids under 13, but there's a lot of kids 13 and under that love it too.
Okay. So still family friendly horror. Okay, that's the new genre.
And it's local. It's a local legend-based kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So true ghost story.
We discussed almost, you have 5 escape rooms. We discussed it all. What is the most successful one? What is your bestseller? Like, how do people, what they love more?
I keep really good track on how many games of each of them, and they're all pretty close. I would have to say that probably the Jungle Drums and the Haunting are the most popular, but they're only the most popular by a couple games a month.
Okay.
So it's pretty even across all
of
our
they're also our newest games, Ken. So
that's true. The newest games get more
been to
players.
The other one. We have a lot of people who have now been to all 5 of our games. So they're all. We thought that maybe Alice would lose popularity after 5 years. She's still just as popular, and that's because we continue to have new people move in. Kids grow up. There's birthday parties for those kids, so it hasn't lost anything. So we're keeping it. It's great.
So the lifetime of the escape room, 5 years, and still doing fine.
Yeah, it's doing great. So, we have had to replace some of the props because over time things get, worn down and stuff like that. And you guys keep improving them. So we just buy a replacement from 10 Quest Lab, get it installed, and, it works. Great.
Okay. So I have a few questions regarding the economic part, but we will continue discussing your escape rooms here. So first of all, you mentioned I don't. I want to start from the I don't know back to the. Okay, no. Let's discuss what we already paid attention on. You are in a Waxhaw, so as I remember from the very start, even me, I was worried a little bit because you are in pretty small city. So it's very local. It's near Charlotte, which is a big center, right? But
Right.
still, as it is, Waxhaw is not a big city. So,
No.
how do you feel about it? How do you get your clients? What kind of advertising you are using? Especially you are targeting to the families. So your experience, your knowledge here is very, very could be useful because yeah, you're. It's not like to be open in the middle of Charlotte, right, or Atlanta, or New
Right.
York. New York, tourists are coming around. They all could see on Google or whatever. So how do you do it on in your case?
Dana, you're the social media marketing person.
Well, we do Facebook marketing. We tried Instagram for a bit, but it wasn't really applicable to us so much. But Facebook targeted ads through there, and recognizing that we are a family community, we have done a lot of advertising through school newspapers, school events. We donate a lot of raffle items at local events, just to get the word out there. And then we do a ton of birthday parties. And so that's really great because each kid that comes, their parent comes to pick them up, and the kid goes, "Oh, I had a great time." And then they now know about the escape room. They bring their family back. So we have a method. After each game, we've handed them a review card and with a QR code on the back, and they can send us reviews. And we have like 900 five-star reviews on Google, and we specifically ask for those, and they give them, and they're all great. And so people have told us that they almost always research and look at the Google reviews. So that's, I think, probably our most effective marketing thing right there. It's
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
word of mouth and reviews from happy customers.
And the key
Yeah,
phrase that we keep telling ourselves is we want to be top of mind. That so that when somebody has, say, visitors coming in from out of town, and they think, "What do you want to do?" Hey, let's go play Waxhaw Escape. We
mhm.
want to be at top of mind. So we don't do a ton of like print advertising. We do a little bit of that. We don't do any like signs or billboards or anything. Um, we try to target the moms who make the plans. Moms make the plans to take everybody to the escape room. So we
Yeah.
target those moms.
So you mentioned a really good thing. So small city is a hard thing to get a lot of people, right? But it's a good thing
Right.
that the word of mouth works there pretty good. And
Mhm.
you open something and everybody knows. And I think you know all your neighbors in terms of all the neighbors in your city as soon as
It's
it's not
true.
so big.
Yeah.
But I remember one case. So what I wanted to tell you is what I see from my perspective is that you really know your target audience. So you know that you are targeting to the families, to the moms, and this is how you get those your customers. And I remember how it was after a year of something, your opening of the first escape rooms, we had a call and we were discussing. I don't remember, maybe the next escape room you were purchasing or just a little talk. And you told me the thing is that, oh, we doubled our bookings this month. And I was like, wow, what did you do? And you told me, oh, we tried digital marketing. We tried to find moms on the Facebook. And I was shocked a little bit because they're like, oh, but what did you before? Like, how did you get the customers before that? So that was my question. So still, yeah, just a little reminder for all of our listeners, for any business, for any, especially like location-based business, we're modern world. We need to do the digital advertising. Yeah, you said the printed don't work too much. It might be in some cases when you are working with some other companies, like if you're saying if you're working with the birthday parties, if you work with some cake shop or something, you can exchange some printed materials for them to bring you customers, and you
I'm going to show you a real quick. This
yeah.
is one thing we do for sure. This gets handed out to all the new people who come to Waxhaw.
Oh, okay.
And so we have an ad in here somewhere. Yeah, so we have an ad. So this is one thing we do. So yeah, so there you go. But this thing, and we have these in our shop that people they take these all the time. So these get out. So that's one print ad we do.
Okay.
But pretty much it's all digital marketing.
Well, at the beginning, though, you were asking how we got them to start with. We really, since we are in a small town, we made friends with, the town hall people. We made friends with the mayor. We made friends with the Chamber of Commerce. And, when we started, opened up the business, we had the whole ribbon cutting thing that got us in the local newspaper. They covered us pretty extensively at the beginning, wouldn't you say? Because to have something like this in Waxhaw was a big deal. There was nothing to do here other than to go to cool places to eat and shop at antique shops. So we kind of went after something to do in Waxhaw, something fun. And so that was our angle. And we got into, we were very much focused on getting into the local newspapers, into the schools, with however we could put ourselves out there. We're not doing that so much, and we probably need to start.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Do that again.
They get busy running their games and forget about the marketing side. So yeah.
Okay, that's important thing you started here. Let's get back to, as soon as I promised that I will ask about money and stuff, which is like complex things. Was it hard? Because I know that in some places, was it hard for you to get a loan from the bank, or put your landlord into this position that we are opening a business? It is the escape rooms. He's like, what is the escape rooms? We don't have it in Vaxpo. And we are trying to explain to him that this is something that people will come and will be locked in the room, and they will have to get out, and they will pay for it. So was it hard for you to get the approval from the landlord, from the bank? And if yes, how much does it cost you to start this business? So initially, to start not 5 escape rooms, but the first 2, right?
Okay, so it cost us. We didn't go to a bank to get a loan. We took out some of our retirement
right.
to help pay for it. So we went into debt to ourselves that way. We maxed out our credit cards, that kind of thing. So, but that was 5 years ago, So
that was the first 2 games, I think, that we did that with.
That's an average, really good price to invest into start the escape room, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's 5-6 years ago, so it could be more. It's probably more than that now.
Well, I think now the games that we put in the last 2 years have cost more per game to put in. And we've gotten more, I think, more props from TimeQuest. Shipping costs have, of course, increased. And construction costs. We've not been able to get back our cheap neighborhood guy for the contractor. So I think that has cost more. But, I wouldn't you say maybe like 45,000 per game?
I'd say that's what it costs us to put in each one of the games. Yeah. Recently. Right. But I would say that getting permission, the landlord didn't mind. That was, they thought, okay, fine. But it was the town, and I think I mentioned this earlier, trying to get the permits, trying to get permission from the town to have an escape room game. We had to convince the fire marshal that they're not really locked in there, and that if there are anything, if a fire alarm goes off, all the magnetic locks open and the lights, show the way out. So we had to get all the fire department, uh, everybody happy with what we're doing. And right now, they love what we're doing. But initially, it was a little bit of a challenge.
Just
No,
didn't know what it was.
well, I'm just asking because that's a true situation. We have some clients who are struggling of finding the right place and finding the right place because of different purposes. But one of the purpose is that the landlord is like, escape rooms? What is that? I have never heard of this kind of a business. I won't let you do that here. So
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes we have this question problem because right now I think everybody should know what the escape rooms are, and the entertainment market is so huge. So and we've been to those expos, and it's growing and growing and growing, and but still some people are not allowing you to do these kind of things
Right.
on their
Right.
property. Okay. Another thing here. So you have 5 escape rooms, and you mentioned birthday parties. How do you basically work with those groups? So is it like big companies come in and you put them all in one escape room, or you divide them? And why am I asking? Because um, I know that if I'm not mistaken, you don't have a special like room, lounge room, or party room.
Right.
You have only the reception, right? And
Right.
you don't have this special thing. Even I googled your website and I looked through it, and you have this tab for parties and big groups or something. And you wrote there some food places around. So you kind of invite guests, but you tell them like, hey, if you want to spend thing, like
Excuse me.
play the game and go there after. So
That's what we do. We say, come and play the game. We have a restaurant next door. I'm sorry, somebody must be the pollen. Or there's a pizza and ice cream place down at the other end of the parking lot. And so that's what they do. They have fun here. Then they all go and walk to the restaurants nearby and do their opening the presents and have food there and stuff like that. So
Well, let me
it
just
works.
say that during when we first got our second space, and this was after COVID, of course, we couldn't build it all out at once. And so in the space that was still open, we created a party room thinking, let's use the space. And so we offered a room with tables, and they could come in there and open presents and have cake. And, we made a little income, but honestly, and we'd heard this from other escape room owners, it wasn't worth the hassle because you needed to have a staff person there to oversee it, to help them, and to clean it up afterwards. And you couldn't charge enough for that extra hour to make it worth it. The space is much better used as an escape room game because we could only charge $75 for the use of that room. And so the staffing cost and the cleanup and the hassle of it was not worth it.
Okay.
So this has been a great option.
Okay, I got it.
Guys, I'm going to go get a cup of water.
Yeah,
I'll be
sure,
right back.
sure, no problem. That's really useful experience because in our other business, which is the VR, a lot of our partners they do have this party room. Let me call it this way, and some of
Right.
them they earn even more money on the booking of the party room because people are coming for 3 hours, right? So and they're playing. Making some pauses, taking a rest, and then getting back to the game and so on. But for the escape rooms, why I was asking because I remember we've been to France and we've met a partner there who also they built 1 or 2 escape rooms from us, but they have a lot of different escape rooms from different suppliers, and their business model is just like they don't even have the reception area. So it's very, very small, but they have like 10 escape rooms. So if you're coming, you don't even have the place to come in. So you have to wait outside, waiting for your time to come. And then when it comes, you're like, okay, you're ready to go. You're playing a little photo and get out. We have
Wow.
a lot of people around. So yeah, maybe escape rooms works this way, but it really depends. This is why I'm asking. So how does it work in your case? Okay, so should we wait Ken or I don't know. I'm pretty out of questions on my end.
Are
Maybe a
let's see,
few.
we didn't answer one of your questions, which
Yeah.
is splitting them up. It
Yeah, yeah.
completely depends on how many people we can handle in each game. So if a company wants to come and bring 25 people, we divide them into at least 4 of the games and we start them all at the same time, but so they can be kind of competitive, but we don't try to squeeze that many people into one game.
Okay.
And so we can handle up to what, 36 people can in our
38, I think, 36, 38. Yeah.
38 people
So
at one time.
with all 5 games running.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that gives that, we give them that option. If they call to talk about a group event, that's an option that we will offer them.
Okay. What was your maximum amount of people?
36,
Well,
38, yeah.
whatever, 6, we got 2 games that are full of 6, 2 games that are full of 8, 1 game that's full of 10. So 6, 12 plus 16.
16, 28. It's 38 basically.
Yeah, 38. Yeah.
Okay. And as I know, they are paying you per person. So
Right.
it was a pretty profitable
Good deals. Yeah.
profitable case, right? And
Yes, when we have all 5 games running, it's a happy day.
it's a
Right.
okay.
And the other thing about those is we don't schedule them on the weekend because that's our normal busy time. So we schedule those on more of an off day. And then we just have to call in our staff and hope that they can get out of school to do it. But we also didn't mention that when they call to book a party or a group event, we do offer them a discount of $2 off per person. And that's always appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it still doesn't cut into our profit.
Okay,
So,
but in this case, with those big groups, you can fill it on non-busy days, right? Weekdays,
Right.
and
Right.
earn more money. Because, as you mentioned, all this location-based entertainment, we are booked on weekends, and we are struggling a little bit to fill up those weekdays. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
That's always a challenge. Okay, let me check if we do have some questions here. So this is Sharon Stinnett. Do you know the Sharon Stinnett from the Stealth Escapes in a Midwest city?
Hi, Sharon.
No, I don't remember Sharon. Maybe. Okay, I will check. So we just opened up our escape room last month. The McCoys and Time Quest Lab have been very helpful in getting us started. Oh, the Sharon. Okay, I remember Sharon. So I think they came to your location to get some feedback,
Right,
and we did the escape room for them. Cool. Cool to see people around. Exciting to see great partnership between Time Quest Lab and Waxhaw Escape. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, Sharon is writing down that they ran into major problems with fire marshals not understanding what the escape room is. That's kind of a thing. And Mike Phillips saying that he and his wife will be visiting Waxhaw next Sunday to check out the escape rooms. So
Oh, Mike. Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
okay.
I'll keep an eye out. I want to make sure we meet.
Okay, yeah. So, guys, if you have any more questions, it's just not a question. Those are mostly positive feedback. Thank you for that. But if you have any more questions, help me because I'm running out of the things that I wanted to ask. But basically, wow, it's almost an hour. So I thought that it was less. So we can keep discussing the things without ending, but still, I want it to be useful.
Let me bring up something that's very important to what we do, and that is our game masters.
Yeah.
The people that we hire to help run the games, because there's no way Jeannie and I can run 5 games at the same time.
Absolutely.
So we have 9 game masters that work with us now, and they're all teenagers. Maybe there's 1 or 2 in their 20 or 21, but we really have great um, rapport with them, and they really take ownership of helping people have fun here. And so they are really good at greeting people and setting the stage and telling the story and getting them into the game, and giving them hints during the game, getting them out, taking pictures, all that kind of stuff. They really help enhance the experience of being at Waxhaw Escape, and without them we probably couldn't do it.
What's
In fact,
their favorite escape room to run?
I don't know which one to run. I know which ones they don't like to run. They don't like to run Dirty Money, Good Deed, because there's so many things that you have to put away after the game.
I don't like the reset.
Because of the
They don't
resetting.
want to do
Okay.
the reset of the game. Yeah. They
Uh,
like running all the games,
I,
but they
uh,
don't like resetting Dirty Money, Good Deed.
I know that in a lot of the escape rooms, and our partners in Las Vegas, for example, their game masters, they definitely love the horror ones the most, because they are putting this special costume with
Oh, yeah.
the stuff, and they're
Yeah.
going to frightening the people and stuff like that. So they just really love to put those emotions on the guests.
Our crew really liked, for our haunting game in October,
Because
the
of
month
the
of
Halloween.
Halloween. We gave teams the chance to choose to play the game with lights off and only two little pen flashlights.
Okay, okay.
And so then they loved that, because they would sneak into the room with this death robe thing on and a thing, and scare the people, and they loved doing that. So that was fun.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, that's true. So we have a question about that. So do you have one operator for each booked escape room, or can one operator do multiple escape rooms simultaneously?
Jeannie, you want to answer?
Well, we have one game master per game,
Oh,
and that's
really?
because they've got a headset on, they're watching. We want them to be able to totally focus on the game that they are running, to watch what's happening, to be ready with an appropriate hint when they need it, and to not be distracted. So that's what we do. We've got one computer, one operator with a headset, and they're devoted to greeting that team when they get there and to saying goodbye to them, taking pictures at the end. They're hosting them. And so we feel like to try to have one person doing all of that takes away from the customer experience. So we've decided that we're sticking with that. It seems to be working
Right.
for us.
You're
Yeah.
very
Customer
service
experience is the most
focused.
important.
Yeah, customer service focused.
Yes.
Because
In fact, I had a couple of moms and 5 kids, 3 cousins, play a game a week or two ago, and one of the girls came up to me afterwards. She must have been 10. She says, "Thank you for being nice." And I went, "What?" She goes, "Thank you for being." And the mom says, "Yeah, we've been to a lot of escape rooms, and nobody's nice. We don't feel like they want to like us or want us to be there. But you guys, I'm coming back to play the rest of your games." And they live way up in Charlotte, so yeah.
wow, no, that's really important. Yeah, yeah. In our kind of a business, we are providing joy to people, emotions. So we
Right.
need to do that. But to be honest, that's kind of a I remember then we started our own escape rooms, and I was working by myself as first of all as an electrician, constructor, and then as a game master. I remember then we got to the point of free escape rooms. I tried to operate free escape rooms. It is possible. It is hard, but possible. If you know the scenario of the escape rooms really well, you can do that, because with one view you can understand that where the players are and give them the hint. But it's hard. You're like this octopus, sitting and working on free escape rooms. Two, it
Yeah.
was really easy for me. Could be done very easily. But free, it's a tough one. But you're absolutely right. Even in this case, you have to have the game master who will be meeting guests. So somebody's at the reception zone to talk to people, and you need to put them into the game. You need to tell them the story. You need to meet them back. And that's also the important part. I don't know if you
Right.
have. I remember in our escape rooms, sometimes people were even disappointed. I don't know if the prop doesn't work properly, right? Or they didn't finish the game, or something happened. The game master is the one who is between them and their and the feedback about our plays, right? And
Right.
we had, in our case, we had those game masters who were so intense into this situation. They were like, even if the players they had a bad game, I mean, they didn't finish it and they are disappointed. The game master was so he was continuing the game for them. I mean, in terms of like telling them how it should be, blah blah blah, and so on. And
Right.
they were
Right.
like, okay, it's fine. Yeah, we will come back for the other games. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And you said you have 9 of them just to have these extra people because
Right.
and to have the shifts ready if
Right.
there will be booking.
They don't have long shifts. They're teenagers, and so we just say you need to commit to 6 hours on a Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a few hours on a Friday and a few hours on a Sunday. That makes it doable for them,
Okay.
and it gives us the capability of being able to have 5 games running at one time. That doesn't happen. Satisfaction is our first priority. If somebody has a really bad experience and we can't make it right, we don't give them a review card. We depend on people coming back. We want them to be happy. So that's our top priority, I would have to say.
Right.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. And do you that's a tricky question. We are talking about emotions here, but still, do you save some money in terms of if the teenagers are working, you don't have to pay them a lot? Does it work this way in your case or not?
We pay them more than minimum wage. And
Uh-huh.
when they've learned all 5 games, they get another dollar an hour raise. And when they have been here for a year, they get another dollar an hour raise. And we have contests that we're in every once in a while, and they can win $25 and stuff. And so for teenagers, it's enough money to keep them coming and
Okay.
keep
But
them working
again,
and keep them
kind
happy.
of like the guy who put in the wiring and the contractor, the kids that we end up hiring, they like this kind of a job. It's not going to be every kid who wants it. And so they don't want to work at a fast food restaurant. They could make more money doing that. The
Mm-hmm.
hours would be more set, but they want this environment. And that's why it's very important to make sure that they like each other. And because
Right.
there's a whole team that gets built. And so they may not make as regular and as much money as they could working as a cashier at a grocery store
Mm-hmm.
or but it's a certain kind of kid is so you look for that because they have to love it. They have
That's
to want to
true.
do
Right.
it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you're a good employer, right? And again, I think that's also because of your this targeting to the families and your. I remember that you have your own big family, so I think they also feel it and they love your place, and that's really important.
Yeah.
In our case, we also had a lot of game masters, and they were like little family, right? We had
Right.
those corporate events, and they were writing songs for us and preparing dances and
I love
so
it.
on. And yeah, so they really love the environment, as you mentioned, where they
Right.
in. So it's like games, joy, people, emotion, and you're absolutely right. It's not something like staying at a cashier and doing stuff like that. Yeah, somebody Mark is also saying that the good game master is essential. Love that it is. He's loving that idea of one game master per game. As a player, you can tell that you are. As a player, you can tell that when you are not in the center of focus. So yeah, he's telling that this is the right thing. Okay, and you mentioned this really important thing. So how do you think? What is the numbers of people coming back to your escape rooms? I mean, what is the percentage? First of all, what is the percentage of people who tried one of your escape room that they will come back? And the second is this company that is coming back. What is the average of them playing of your escape rooms? So I mean, if they played 2, they will definitely play all 5.
I would say that of the local people who come and play our escape room games, almost I would say all of them, except for maybe if they were just out of sorts that day, all of them would say, "Yeah, I'm coming back. We got to do this again." They may not do it for a year.
Hmm.
We've had people who come in the same weekend now for 4 years, and they have one more game to play next year. That kind of thing. So almost everybody wants to come back. I would say that of the I, I don't know what the number would be, but we are getting to a place where we are meeting people who say, "Yeah, I've played all 5 of your games. When are you getting a new one?" So not sure how many of those people are there, but we do get people, if they've played one, they're going to come back and play another one. And we get people now who are, they're 16 years old and they played when they were 12. They
Oh,
played a
okay.
game. Yeah, I played Alice's Dream when I was 12 years old, when I was a kid. Now I'm going to play The Haunting, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, one of the final questions. So, how do you see your escape rooms in the future? So, yeah, we mentioned that your escape rooms are 5 years old, but you don't want to change it, and there is no need to change it because maybe some. I'm not talking about minor improvements and stuff like that,
Right.
but you're doing fine. How do you see your exact escape rooms, or maybe like the whole escape room industry? Because somebody's saying that escape rooms are not popular, but I see still interest, so it's pretty the same as it was. So, what do you think about that?
Well, the latest studies that I think, who does those, Gene? The Escape Room Business Report kind of thing shows that the industry is stable and growing, not booming like it was, but it is still growing. So maybe on the bell curve, it's at the starting to level off and stuff. We're not seeing any downturn as far as that kind of thing is concerned. We anticipate having to change out a room probably next year. We'll have to take one game that's probably not performing as well, or who knows. That's why I keep really good track. They're all doing really well. But things get a little older. We need to re-get some of those people who played all the games and come back and play a new game.
Yeah, that would be the main reason, is to re-engage the people that have played all five. We
Mm-hmm.
need to
So,
keep them coming
so
back.
you basically need to count those people. So if there are, I don't know, 10,000 of people, right? It means that
Right.
you change in one game and email and text them that, like, hey, we have a new game. It will bring you
Right.
10,000 multiplied by the by
By
the
the
ticket price.
$27 a player
Right,
kind of thing.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That reminds
270.
me. That reminds me of another thing that we do for marketing is we have a MailChimp account,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what that is.
Yeah.
And we are very careful with how much we use it because we don't want to bother people. But when we get a new game, we send out a very targeted email to anyone who has signed a disclaimer,
Mm-hmm.
which
Or
everybody
the
has to
waiver.
do,
Yeah, the waiver.
the waiver. So I don't know, what do we have? 15,000, 20,000 names,
Something like
emails.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we target anybody who's been to a game. They get the announcement about a new game or just a special discount, maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
We try not to overdo it, but that's our main avenue to target people who've already played.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's an important part of our strategy too.
No, that you need to use this client base. This is what we teach all of our clients, all of our partners, because you already got this client from the digital marketing. So you basically paid Google or Facebook to get this client. Now he's yours. And yeah, with those instruments like MailChimp, but you're absolutely right. You don't have to overwhelm them with the emails and stuff like that, but make it as I mentioned, like if you have a new game, that's a really good point to text them like, hey, we've waited so long and finally we got it. So
Right. And they will
The
come
last
back.
one we did, yeah, they will come back. The last one we did was just last week, 2 weeks ago, was we had spring break here at the schools for the kids are out for a week. And so we said, can't go to the beach, come to an escape room game, use this code and get 20% off. And we got a bunch of games from that one. So that was good.
yeah, that's an instrument for running the business, right? You have these
Yep.
clients already. So,
Right.
guys, the last few minutes for you to ask some questions, because I think we discussed a lot. As I mentioned, we can continue for a really long time, but it's more than an hour already. So we're gonna start finishing on the finish
Well, let me
line.
just,
Yeah,
I'm going to finish. I'll finish by making sure that I let everybody know that working with TimeQuest Lab is really, really great. We love it. Um, I get to tell new escape room owners who are looking for escape room games to install about how what a great crew you have, what great people you have, what really cool games you create. The props, the puzzles, the game flow, the multimedia, the software that runs itself easily. It's just really, really good working
And the
with you
main
guys.
thing is when something breaks and we go, help, somebody in your team is
Andre,
right. Andre is like, here I am. How can I help? Is that amazing? I
I
mean,
love it.
sometimes it's like, we need help right now. And he's there. The support is
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much for your feedback. That's I really love working with you. I really love that we found you. And again, what I'm thinking, and that's absolutely true. I'm absolutely honest that your escape rooms, we try to do our best for you, but your escape rooms, they're full of love. They're full of your own ideas, your stories, and that's a really important part of the business, as we discussed today, as we see. And that's a little thing. Have you ever invited those escape room rating teams or whatever? How did they call those? There are different medias, or not medias, bloggers, call them anyway, influencers,
Yeah.
who
Right.
are putting the ratings of the escape room. Have you ever invited those? Because I'm feeling right now that your escape rooms are so good because of you, because of what you've done with the decoration, with the story and everything, that they should have tried it, and you will win all the prizes. But I don't remember that you ever done that. So why?
I don't think we have. I think maybe we had one review team come through, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, we probably should. But we like just making sure everybody who comes has fun. So we're good.
That I think that's why you're doing good and your business is fine, because this is your main goal. But definitely, again, Dirty Money Good Deed and this paranormal thing would be a huge success, because it's not just the escape room, it's the escape room with the idea, with some, those guys who are gamers, who are, they love those Eastern eggs. And if you
Oh yeah,
have
yeah.
this story, if you have these little things, this is something why people love cool games on the PC, because there are some, not because of the main thing, but because of the little details, and
Right.
yours are on a highest level.
Well, thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, so we got one more feedback from Sharon. She's saying that Roman has really helped us work any technical issues on. Oh, they also, they also have Alice's and jungle drums. People love it, and they're also first in their area. So, and
Thanks.
they did
That's
recently.
awesome.
So
That's yeah,
this is
yeah.
what we talked about the industry,
Sharon.
and they are first in the area and still doing good.
There you go,
That's it.
Sharon.
Yeah. So thank you so much for today's talk. I really love talking to you. We can make another webinar talking to you only.
Not
So
forever, right?
yeah, we have so many things to discuss about the game masters, about this customer service. We can dive into that more, and so there are a lot of things. But okay, today I need to leave you. I mean, so that you can do your own stuff. Thank you for your time, and that you again found the time to make this call, and for your help.
Thank you for including us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just so
we're honored. We
grateful.
are honored. Anything we can do to help, you know. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So thank you guys. Thank you for everybody for watching. I hope you liked it and it was useful for you. We tried to cover some useful questions for the escape room owners or for those who want to start one. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to finish our transition right now. Thank you. Bye-bye for everybody, and see you next time. So yeah, I finished the YouTube